Hello and welcome to Spencer's Library. I'm Claudia and this is a Q&A. I asked you to ask me some questions and you did, both in my community tab and on Instagram, so thank you for everyone who asked a question. Let's just get right into it. There's not much else to say about a Q&A, is there? The first question is, since you're moving to Germany, have you been reading fictions that either resemble you moved to a different country or fictions that are set in Germany? No, frankly, I have not read anything for a few weeks. I am definitely, I don't even want to call it in a reading slump. I am in a not reading mode. This is just, I guess, a normal phase of life where I am super busy with moving, packing up things, that my brain just doesn't feel drawn to books right now. I have got a few books that I want to read when I feel the urge, but right now, frankly, I'm not reading anything. How do you keep yourself motivated or on track regardless of motivation? I can't fathom doing a PhD and the regular videos you do here, plus your hobbies like knitting, reading, etc., and organizing a move right now. Let's clear up a misunderstanding. I am definitely not motivated to do all of these things, and I'm definitely not on track either. I know it looks maybe to you like I read, do a PhD, make videos, knit, and have other hobbies. That's not really true. I usually focus on one thing or another. I don't, in a day, I don't pick up a book, make a video, do PhD, and do some knitting. I don't do all of these things at the same time. I only have 24 hours in the day. And right now, when I'm recording this, it is about 1.5 weeks to moving date. Right now, I am not reading. I am not doing a PhD. I've taken a few weeks off until after the move, and I am not knitting. So from that list, what's left is packing and making videos. The packing obviously is necessary. I just have to get on with it. It doesn't matter whether I'm motivated or not. And the making videos is my release from that. It's a nice time to sit down. You may have noticed I've done a few more videos sitting down lately than standing up. It's nice to sit down and do something creative. At the moment, I'm definitely not juggling all of these things. I'm very much juggling one or two of these things, in which case, can you really call it juggling? Next question. Your shop with books and cats is so cute. Thank you. Would you ever consider making items with books and dogs for us dog people, or too off-brand? I think it would be too off-brand. I like dogs. I'm a cat lady, but I do like dogs as well. But I don't think that it would fit with the whole cat lady me. By the way, I'm going to use this opportunity to plug the web shop. Look at this. This is actually my favorite item that I have from there. This is Sherlock Holmes. The game is afoot. But Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson are cats instead of people. Yeah, so if you are not aware, I guess I haven't mentioned it in a few videos, I have a web shop that's full of designs like this that are scenes from classic literature, but with cats instead of people. There's also a few other designs there, like my Reader Cat Lady Feminist design, which I also really like. Right now, I have actually uploaded a new design that I have commissioned from my designer. I don't draw these myself. And the new design is a Christmas one, so it's A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, but with cats. Go and check it out if you're interested. shop.spencerslibrary.com, and it's linked in the description box. This video was proudly sponsored by myself. Hi Claudia, why did you stop doing the Have a Biscuit Potter podcast? That was awesome and educational. I would love to listen to another episode. Thank you for that question. I've mentioned it in sort of passing. I certainly mentioned it in my J.K. Rowling video. I used to do a podcast called Have a Biscuit Potter, which was a Harry Potter reread podcast. I read chapters of it and then discussed them with, my usual twists. When J.K. Rowling came out as a horrible person, I couldn't continue with it. I didn't feel like I wanted to continue promoting her work. However, if you want to listen to some amazing queer, feminist, intersectional podcasts about Harry Potter, I'm just going to throw some recommendations out there. There is Witch Please. It's a classic. They've just returned for a second season. There is The Gayly Prophet, amazing queer reading of Harry Potter. There is The Quibbler. They are just kind of wrapping up their reread as well, so there's 7 books worth of podcasts to fall back on. The Real Weird Sisters is great. The House of Black, that's a relatively new one. There's some really good Harry Potter podcasts that I recommend you listen to instead if you enjoyed Have a Biscuit Potter. Have a Biscuit Potter does no longer exist. I didn't want to continue paying the hosting fees, frankly, without making the podcast, so the episodes are no longer available, I'm afraid. The next question is, are you planning to film videos in German? Talking about German literature, classics and more would be fantastic, especially in native language. Maybe. I don't really know a lot about German classics because the last time I read most German classics was in school, and as you might know, I never really finished most of them. So it's not an area of literature that I'm very comfortable with, but it is an area of literature that I want to expand into. And I might well do a video or two in German. I think this channel is always going to be English based, but that's not to say that I might not one day make a video in German and then obviously subtitle that in English. So that's a great suggestion, thank you. The next question just says, why not dogs? Do you mean as pets? I have nothing against dogs. I like dogs, but I prefer cats in my immediate surroundings. Dogs are cute as well, though. The next question is, I would like to know about those books you usually like to read. Make any suggestions to us that would be helpful. I mean, that's basically what I do on this entire channel. So if you want book recommendations from me, I suggest you check out some of my videos about classics. In particular, I'm always very vocal with the books I recommend and the books that I don't recommend. This isn't really enough information for me to go and recommend some books to you, but check out some of the videos. For example, my 4 Seasons Classics playlist is full of recommendations. I've got a video about my favorite dystopian novels, which I'll link down below as well. There's a lot of recommendations videos on my channel. Next up, what German food are you most excited to eat again? Is there any British food that you will miss? Yes, to both of these. I am most excited to eat German baked goods. If you've ever been to a German bakery, you'll know why. The bread, the brezeln, the pastries, the cakes, there's so much, as well as your more regional foods. This might not mean anything to you if you're not familiar with the southwest of Germany. I'm going to show you some pictures here, I guess. Maultaschen, Spätzle, Schupfnudeln, Dampfnudeln. As you can see, they're all quite carb heavy, but the Germans are good at carbs. British foods I'm going to miss. There is also quite a few of those. And actually, I am planning to make a video about that on my second channel, Claudia's House. I will link to that in the description box as well. So I'm not going to answer this question in detail because there is going to be a whole video about British foods I'm going to miss in Germany. What have you learned about researching wisely? What are some things you were or maybe are scared of when it came to the PhD, and how did you get past it? And does it ever stop feeling weird that your job is to read and write? I can't get over that. Okay, lots of questions here about my PhD. So about researching wisely, I feel like I'm still very much working on that. But one thing I am learning is to not read every word on every page of every chapter of every book, because that way you just spend your time reading and you end up with all of this information that you can't do anything about. So filtering the information that you research, whether it's a journal article, a primary source, or a textbook, whatever you are reading, you need to find the bits that are relevant to you and then try and focus on those and make sure that you absorb the information from that. What are some things that you were or are scared of? Imposter syndrome is a big one. I think I did a video about that. I'll link that in the description box. But every time, like genuinely every time I talk to my supervisor and I show him something that I've written and he says it's good, I am surprised every single time. Imposter syndrome is really something I'm struggling with. I haven't figured out how to get past that. Does it ever stop feeling weird that your job is to read and write? Yes. It's honestly become the most mundane thing ever. Writing especially, I'm not good at. The things that I write are fine, okay? It's not that I'm bad at writing, but I don't enjoy it much and I'm very slow at it. So maybe that's something that I need to work on more. You know what? Maybe I can make that into a fun video, like a writing vlog type thing. If you have any ideas, let me know. Let's move on to the next question. What do you plan to do in terms of work, or what would you like to do when you finish your PhD? Are you going to look for an academic position or something else entirely? That entirely depends on where the economy is at when I get my PhD. which is going to be in 2025 or 2026. So there's still some time until then. At the moment, I'm not that keen on getting a job in academia, frankly. I'm feeling a little bit disillusioned with the whole academic industrial complex, if you want to call it that. I can imagine going into some other, maybe slightly related fields like archival work, even media work, but I just don't know yet. I am not, at the moment, particularly keen on becoming a musicology lecturer. Like, who knows where the universities are at in 4 or 5 years' time. The next question is about my ideal cat personality. Playful cat, cuddly lap cat, stays out of your way cat, is kind of an asshole cat. Yes, please, all of them. I'll have one of each. I like a cat that is in my life. Both Minerva and Beetle are quite attached cats. Minerva definitely more so than Beetle. So Minerva is very loud, very boisterous, very confident, and loves humans but hates other animals. So she will, if you come into my house, remember those days, if you come into my house, she will be all over you. She'll be screaming at you, sniffing you, sitting in your lap, demanding attention. She just loves attention. And I love that about her. I think it's because she was bottle raised from a tiny kitten, so she never had a cat mother, and she always kind of grew up, I guess, feeling comfortable around people. And the same was true for Minerva's brother, Rex. He was also very confident, very boisterous, and very cuddly, and just, you know, a very friendly cat. Both Minerva and Rex, kind of like dog cats, you know. Even to the degree that we took them out on the lead, and you can pick them up and mess with them. They like belly rubs, so they're very doggish cats. When Rex passed away, when we made the decision to get another cat so that Minerva wouldn't be quite so alone, Bill and I decided that we wanted a cat that was the opposite of her, because we didn't want her to have to compete with another cat for our attention. So we got Beetle. When he came to visit with his litter mate, with his brother and sister, as a tiny kitten, he was the one who didn't want to come out of the cat carrier. The other two were all over us. They were just adorable and purring and stuff, and Beetle was hiding in his carrier, not wanting to come out. And we knew we wanted a cat that was a bit more of like a project, you know, a bit more of a skittish cat, a nervous cat that we'd want to work with and make more comfortable. And now, 3 years later, he is a comfortable and happy and affectionate cat with us. He's not like that with most other people. He will hide if someone comes into the house. There's a few exceptions. I know guest Mr. Robin is one of the few people that he'll actually go up to. But usually he will be absolutely terrified of other people. But when no one else is around and it's just me and Bill, he's right there. Still very skittish though. The next question is, do you read books in Italian or German or only English? I read books in English and in German. I have never read a book in Italian, but this is something I really want to try. I expect once I live in Germany, I'm going to be reading a lot more German than I am right now. Next question. How did you and Bill meet? Was he a cat person before you met, or did he introduce you to cats? So Bill and I met just over 10 years ago at a songwriters meetup in London, because we both used to write songs. It was Halloween 2010. We went on a date we went to the British Gallery, I think. And he was a cat person always. I would say he's more of a cat person than I am, if you can imagine such a thing. So he grew up with cats. His parents have always had cats. I grew up with no pets because my mum doesn't really like animals, except for squirrels for some reason. The next question is, what, if anything, will you miss about the UK? There's loads I'm going to miss about the UK. I mean, I moved here for a reason. I know I sound really negative when I talk about Britain, and you can blame Brexit for that, but there are a lot of things I'm going to miss once I move away from here. The biggest one is obviously my friends. The friends that I've made here, the family that I have here. I'm going to miss them all a whole lot. And it really hasn't helped that I've not been able to see most of them for this year, that I've not been able to have people around and to socialise and to go to my friends' places. Other than that, I'm going to miss a lot of cultural things. I mean, I'll be able to watch British television from there, but I enjoy British pub culture, British comedy culture. I actually, and I know I've already plugged my second channel, but I have made a whole video about this on my second channel, which should be out by the time this video comes out. If not, it's coming out very soon, which is about things I love about Britain. And in that video, I'm gushing a lot more about the things that I really liked about this country and that I'm going to miss when I move away. And the last question on the community tab says, how would you describe the differences between Russian literature and British literature? Is this a literature university exam? If you're writing an essay on this, then I'm really the wrong person to ask. I have not read any Russian literature, so I would describe the differences between British literature and Russian literature as I have read one of them and not the other. I've got a few Russian books that I really want to get to, especially classics, of course. But if you want to recommend me your favourite Russian classic in the comments, please do. Lots for me still to discover when it comes to Russian literature. Let's move on to some questions from Instagram. What are you most looking forward to regarding living in Germany again? Being nearer my family. I haven't seen them in a long time, and it will be nice to be in the same country as them, to only be a 2-hour train journey away from them. That would be great. There is a lot to miss about Germany. I miss the way that people talk to each other in Germany. I miss having the Black Forest around me. By the way, when I talk about the Black Forest, I know maybe if you haven't been there, you're imagining like a woods. But it's not actually woods, it's a large mountain range. So I miss that landscape, you know, the darkness of the trees and the hills and the mountains. I miss the weather, I miss the climate, I miss it being really cold in the winter and really hot in the summer. I miss the food, a lot of the food. I'm sure I'm going to be talking about German food a lot on the second channel. I miss markets. Markets are such a big part of German life. Weekly markets, Christmas markets, spring markets, autumn markets. They're just not the same here. There's a lot. I miss living in a country with stable politics, although that might change considering there is a general election next year. The next question is, what happened to your camper van? It was never our camper van. Bill's family are in the caravan sales business. So they sell secondhand caravans. And Bill's dad told us, hey, we've got this 1999 camper van in. You could borrow it to go to Germany if you want. So we borrowed that van. We had it parked outside of our house for a few months just so we could get the cats used to it and so on. We went to Germany in it. I made a video about that. Link in the description box. When we came back, we returned the van and they fixed it up and sold it on. So I don't know who's got our caravan, but unfortunately it's not us anymore. Next question, would you consider doing your Christmas tradition prep, baking, cooking videos? Yes, I would consider them. I'm not sure if it's going to happen this year because Christmas this year we'll be spending in a rented holiday flat with most of our stuff still in the UK. So I don't know if I'm going to have the things to make these kinds of videos. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a good enough setup because I'll have to figure out what my new kitchen is going to look like. I'm going to make more videos about things like that, traditions, German Christmas traditions, family Christmas traditions, but they will be on the second channel. So Spinster's Library from now on is going to be a lot more book focused, and all of my life stuff is pretty much going to happen on Claudia's house. But I can't promise any sort of Christmassy videos for this year because I just don't know what my living situation is going to be like next month. If you were paid to visit any country outside of Europe or North America, where would you go? If I was paid to visit a country, anywhere, everywhere. But even if I was to pay to visit a country, which I believe is the normal way of things, I would really like to go to Thailand. I think that would be probably at the top of my travel list of places to go. None of us are traveling at the moment, let's be honest. And even if we could, I would be saving up a long time for a trip to Thailand. The next question says, I've heard about issues with AdSense. Would you stop your channel if you lost that income? I'm not sure what issues you're referring to. There have been some issues with advertising on YouTube where it's really annoying. YouTube has started just basically peppering every video with a ton of ads. And I pretty much have to go in manually and remove all of these ads. Obviously, I want ads in my videos because of the revenue, but I don't think there should be an ad like every 2 minutes because that's annoying. So maybe those are the issues that you're referring to. I'm not sure what else is going on at the moment. I'm a little bit out of the loop, I guess. Would I stop my channel if I lost that income? I don't think I would stop it. I make these videos because I enjoy making them. Obviously, I would be lying if I said that the income didn't make a difference. If I didn't have the income, I would probably be making fewer videos less frequently because I'd have to recuperate that money through other work. By the way, are you interested in like a earnings video at the end of the year? I make these videos like every now and again because I'm really interested, I'm really nosy, I like seeing, you know, what other YouTubers make. But I'm always a little bit worried that actually no one else is interested in this. If you're interested in an earnings report or at the end of the year, I will do one because my channel is now at a point where the money I'm making is starting to make a difference in my life. It is not as of yet like an income, but it is a decent amount of pocket money. I think in October I made something like £105 for the month, and that's not nothing. I mean, again, it's not a wage, but it does make a difference. So if I lost that income, no, I wouldn't stop making videos, but I'd probably make fewer of them, if I'm completely honest. How many pairs of glasses do you have? Okay, hang on. You ready for this? These ones you never get to see. These are my prescription sunglasses. I have really light sensitive eyes, so I wear sunglasses a lot when I'm outside. What do you think? So hang on, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs of prescription glasses and 1 pair of sunglasses. What happened, right, was I got myself some glasses and sunglasses from Specsavers. And then I realized that you can actually buy a lot of glasses online, like prescription glasses online, and they're quite cheap. So occasionally I order myself some glasses from online. And that's because I really hate wearing glasses. I wish I didn't have to. If I ever have a lot of money, I'm going to get laser eye surgery. Like that's the one body modification I really, really want to have. So having like different options makes it a bit more fun for me when I can. Just do something different with them, match them to an outfit. I usually match them to like my hair. For example, these ones I almost only ever wear with my hair up because I think that looks best with these. But yeah, I have a lot of glasses. Should we stick with this one? No, I don't think that goes with the makeup, you see. Let's go with these ones. I don't wear these often enough. The next question, what would be your dream job after finishing your PhD? My dream job would be doing BookTube full time, but don't tell anyone. It's not gonna happen. But that would be my dream job, honestly. That if there was one thing I could pick that I would get like paid a decent wage for, this would be it. But I don't think there is a lot of money in BookTube. Other than that, I don't know yet. I know what I don't want to do. I don't want to work with children. I've done that. I'm good at it, but I don't enjoy it. And I don't think I want to go into full-time academia. So we'll see. We'll see what options there are. The next question, how are you and Bill handling lockdown? I mean, it's been a long time. If you think of lockdown as not leaving the house unless necessary, not going to shops, restaurants, not going outside to work, like literally staying in the house for most of the time, reducing the amount of time you do grocery shopping. We have been doing that since March. For us, there hasn't been a first and a second wave. We've been doing full-on lockdown for months now. We haven't had people visit. We haven't been anywhere. We haven't been to any pubs or restaurants, even when they were open. I haven't been on the high street to do shopping. We've done everything from home. Bill's been working from home. I've been working from home. We've reduced our weekly shop down to every 2 weeks. So we've only been to the supermarket twice a month. And by we, I mean him, because we're reducing the risk even there, where we make sure that only Bill, only one of us, actually goes out and does the shop. It's starting to get tiring, especially because we're moving now, right? And we don't have the opportunity to have a goodbye party. We don't have the opportunity to have people over and help us with the packing. And we don't have the opportunity to just hang out with the people we care about before we move away. And that sucks. That's been weighing heavily on us. But lockdown has also actually shown us how lucky we are to have each other, because we genuinely like each other's company. And that's a great thing to have in a relationship, I think. You know, you heard all these jokes at the beginning of lockdown of like, ooh, the divorce rate's going to go up. But I don't feel like we are going in that direction at all. So it's been great to know that I live with someone who I actually like to be around, even if it is 24/7, as it is at the moment. And the final question, will you contemplate getting a third cat? Yes, yeah. Like I said, Bill has always had several cats in his life. I know when I met him, his parents actually had 4 cats at the same time. I think we will contemplate getting a third cat when we live somewhere where we have the space, and that is probably not going to be for a while. The way that we are planning our living situation is, first we're going to move into this holiday rental, which is an apartment, then we'll move into a rental apartment, and then eventually we'll get a mortgage and buy a house. That's the point where we probably have enough space for a third cat, but not in the near future, not anytime soon, no matter how kitten broody both Bill and I are getting. Okay, that was all of the questions. Thank you so much for asking them, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to show off my glasses collection. Thank you for watching. Bye.